The sleek exploration vessel Horizon slowed as it approached the massive space station. Through the main viewport, Captain Lisa Bennett watched the structure grow larger, a spinning wheel of metal and light against the darkness of space. "Final approach to Galactic Council Station Alpha," announced the pilot, Sam Carter. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. Lisa nodded. Steady as she goes. After decades of sending signals into space, humanity had finally received an answer 3 years ago. Now the Horizon carried the first human delegation to meet the Galactic Council, an alliance of 27 spacefaring species. Lisa straightened her uniform and glanced at the small crew gathered on the bridge. "Remember, we represent all of Earth today." Nathan Rogers, the ship's science officer, checked his tablet one last time. "The translation software is ready. Let's hope it works as well as in the simulations." The ship docked with a gentle bump. Lisa felt her heart race despite her calm exterior. First contact. Real first contact. The airlock cycled, and the delegation stepped through. Lisa led the way, followed by Nathan, Diplomatic Officer Diane Harrison, Engineer Alex Powell, and Security Chief Greg Mitchell. They entered a large, circular chamber. The air felt thin but breathable. The gravity was noticeably lighter than Earth's. And there they were, aliens, real aliens. 5 different species stood before them, each stranger than the last. The tallest had 4 arms and skin like polished copper. Another floated slightly above the floor, its body translucent and glowing from within. The others were equally bizarre, one covered in feather-like filaments, another with multiple eye stalks, and a small creature with limbs that seemed to bend in impossible ways. "Welcome, humans," said the copper-skinned being. Its voice came through the translation devices clipped to the humans' collars. "I am High Counselor Vereen of the Thelex. We greet you on behalf of the Galactic Council." Lisa stepped forward. "Thank you for your welcome. I am Captain Lisa Bennett of Earth. We come in peace and friendship." As she spoke, Lisa noticed something odd. The aliens kept a considerable distance from the human delegation, and was that fear in their postures. The small alien with the flexible limbs whispered to the glowing, floating one. The translator picked it up. "They seem so dense, and their movements are so quick." High Counselor Vereen approached cautiously. "We must confirm. Your species evolved on the planet designated in our records as ED7. The blue-green world with high nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, extreme weather patterns, and gravity of 9.8 meters per second squared." "You mean Earth?" "Yes, that's our home planet," Nathan answered. The chamber went silent. The aliens exchanged meaningful glances. "Is something wrong?" Lisa asked. "Forgive our reaction," said Vereen. "We are surprised. E7 is classified in our records as Deathworld 7, one of the most dangerous planets known to support intelligent life." The human delegation looked at each other in confusion. "Dangerous?" Greg asked. "Earth is perfectly normal." This statement caused more murmuring among the aliens. "Normal." The feathered alien stepped forward. "Your world has extreme temperature variations, constant storms, highly corrosive salt water covering most of its surface, and gravity that would crush most spacefaring species, not to mention the thousands of predator species and microorganisms that attack constantly." Lisa tried to process this information. But aren't all habitable worlds like that? The question caused such commotion that Vereen had to call for order. The glowing alien approached, its light pulsing rapidly. "Captain Bennett, most intelligent species evolve on what we call paradise worlds or garden worlds, planets with stable climates, minimal predation, and gentle environments. The fact that your species not only survived but thrived on a death world is remarkable." As Vereen spoke, Lisa noticed how delicate the aliens seemed. Their movements were careful and slow compared to humans. Their bodies looked fragile. "We have much to learn from each other," Lisa said carefully. "Indeed," Vereen agreed. Though I must ask, is it true that humans regularly expose themselves to falling water as a cleaning ritual? You mean showers or rain? Alex asked. The aliens collectively shuddered. Lisa exchanged a glance with Nathan. This first meeting was going to be more complicated than anyone on Earth had imagined. They weren't just meeting aliens. They were meeting species who found humans terrifying simply because of where they came from. Perhaps, Lisa suggested with a diplomatic smile, we should start at the beginning. The human delegation sat in a large conference room aboard the council station. Holograms showed planets of all colors and sizes floating above the table. Lisa stared at the image of Earth, now labeled Deathworld 7 in alien script. Our classification system sorts worlds by their danger level, explained Zilith, a blue-skinned scientist with large eyes. Class 1 are paradise worlds. Perfect conditions, minimal dangers. Most council species evolved on these. Zilith waved a thin hand, and several golden planets appeared. Class 2 through 4 are garden worlds. Slightly more challenging but still gentle environments. Nathan leaned forward. And Earth. Class 7 Death World. Zilith seemed nervous even saying it. High gravity, extreme weather, dangerous flora and fauna, tectonic instability, and Zilith paused dramatically. Microorganisms everywhere. Diane Harrison, the diplomatic officer, took notes, so most species didn't have to deal with disease. Not like you understand it, Zilith replied. Most worlds have beneficial or neutral microlife. Your world is, Zilith searched for a polite word, aggressive at every level of existence. Alex Powell, the engineer, couldn't help laughing. Wait until they hear about Australia. Lisa shot him a warning look. Vereen joined them, moving carefully in what the humans now recognized as the higher gravity they had set for the human comfort. Even at 70% of Earth normal, the aliens seemed strained. We've prepared quarters for your stay, Vereen said. We've increased the gravity and air pressure to your specifications, though I must say it was challenging for our engineers. Thank you for accommodating us, Lisa said. As they followed Vereen through the station, they noticed more aliens watching them from a distance. Some seemed afraid, others curious. Is it true you can lift 10 times your body weight? One small alien child asked Greg before being hushed by its parent. In their quarters, the human team gathered to discuss what they had learned. So we're Space Orcs, Alex said, grinning. The scary tough guys from the Death Planet. This explains their reaction when we ate lunch, Nathan added. They watched us bite through food with our teeth like we were performing some kind of horror show. Diane was more serious. This complicates negotiations. Half the council species seem afraid of us, and the other half want to study us like zoo animals. Lisa nodded. We need to be careful. Show them we're not dangerous, just different. A chime indicated someone at the door. Zilith entered, carrying scientific equipment. Captain Bennett, may I measure your physical capabilities? For science, of course. What kind of measurements? Lisa asked. Simple things. Strength, speed, endurance. The council is very interested. Lisa hesitated but agreed. The test started simply. Zilith asked Lisa to lift various objects, starting with small ones and gradually increasing in weight. When Lisa easily lifted what looked like a metal barrel, Zilith's instruments beeped rapidly. Is something wrong? Lisa asked. That container would require 3 Xorians to move, Zilith said, voice filled with awe. And your heart rate barely increased. The test continued. When Zilith asked Lisa to run on a treadmill, the alien had to keep increasing the speed until Lisa was merely jogging at what was apparently an impressive pace. Remarkable, Zilith muttered repeatedly. Later, the human team was invited to a council meeting. As they entered, conversation stopped, and all eyes turned to them. The council will now hear the petition from Earth to join the Galactic Alliance, announced Vereen. A tall alien with gray skin stood. How can we allow these Deathworlders into our peaceful alliance? Their very biology makes them dangerous. They could break bones with a handshake. Another counselor, bird-like with bright plumage, disagreed. Their adaptability could be valuable. They survive conditions that would kill most of us. As the debate continued, Lisa realized that humanity's greatest challenge wouldn't be proving their technology or civilization's advancement. It would be convincing the galaxy that humans weren't monsters, despite evolving on a world that the Council considered a nightmare. "We didn't choose our world," Lisa whispered to Nathan. "But it certainly chose us." A new voice cut through the debate. "Perhaps we should see these humans in action before judging them," suggested a counselor they hadn't met before. "I propose a test." Lisa straightened in her chair. Whatever test they proposed, Earth's future in the galaxy might depend on it. The Earth Embassy took shape in a section of the station that had been quickly converted for human use. The gravity was set to Earth normal, the air pressure increased, and the temperature adjusted to a comfortable 70 degrees Fahrenheit. To the humans, it felt like home. To the aliens, it was barely tolerable. "I still don't understand why they think Earth is so dangerous," Lisa said as she arranged items in her new office. The Council had appointed her as Earth's first ambassador until official representatives could arrive. "It's all relative," Nathan explained. He was setting up scientific equipment with Zilith, who now wore a special suit to handle Earth-like conditions. "What we consider normal would kill most of them." Zilith nodded eagerly. "Your bones are incredibly dense. Your muscles can generate forces that would tear my species apart. And you have an internal skeleton. Most Council species have exoskeletons or fluid-based support systems." A small crowd of alien visitors had gathered outside the embassy. They watched through transparent walls as humans went about their daily routines. Each ordinary action seemed to fascinate them. William Cruz, the military advisor, was demonstrating exercise routines in a small gym. When he did simple push-ups, the alien observers gasped and chattered excitedly. "They're treating us like a zoo exhibit," Diane complained. "They're curious," Lisa replied. "We're just as curious about them." The embassy received its first official visitors that afternoon. 3 Council representatives arrived to discuss trade possibilities. They watched nervously as Alex casually poured water from a pitcher. "You just handle water in its liquid form, without protection?" asked one visitor, a tall insect-like being named Crix. Yes," Alex replied, confused. "Would you like some?" All 3 visitors declined quickly. Later, Lisa met with Vereen to discuss the test the Council had proposed. "There is a small moon in this system," Vereen explained. "It has conditions similar to your Earth, though milder. The Council suggests sending a mixed team, humans and Council species, to demonstrate how we might work together." "A field test," Lisa nodded. "That makes sense." "There is something else," Vereen added carefully. "Some Council members believe humans might be predatory by nature. They worry about your intentions." Lisa frowned. "We're not predators. At least, not anymore. Yet your eyes face forward, like hunters. You have teeth designed for tearing flesh. And your history." Vereen paused delicately. "We accessed your public networks. Your species has a history of conflict." "We've moved beyond that," Lisa insisted. "Mostly." That evening, the human team gathered to discuss the situation. "They're afraid of us," Greg said, shaking his head. "I sneezed earlier, and 3 aliens ran away thinking I was expelling toxins. I dropped a tool, and everyone jumped," Alex added. "Apparently, sudden loud noises are uncommon on their worlds." Nathan shared his findings. According to Zilith, most Council species evolved without major predators. Their worlds had stable climates, few natural disasters, and limited competition. Earth's constant disasters and evolutionary arms races produced humans, adaptable, tough, and resilient. "No wonder they're scared," Diane said. "We're space monsters to them." The door chimed, and Kelly Martinez entered with Zilith. "Kelly, The communications specialist had been working closely with the alien scientist. "You need to see this," Kelly said, activating a holographic display. It showed news broadcasts from across the Council worlds. All featured images of humans, with headlines that translated to phrases like "Deathworlders among us" and "the predators of ED7. Public opinion is divided, Xylith explained. Some fear you, others are fascinated. A few see potential benefits in an alliance. We need to change their perception, Lisa decided. Show them we're not dangerous. As if to contradict her words, they heard a commotion outside. Greg looked at a security monitor and frowned. "We have protesters," he announced. "Quite a few of them." Through the embassy windows, they could see a gathering crowd of aliens holding signs with anti-human slogans. Their translators picked up chants. "Send the Deathworlders home," and "Protect our peaceful worlds." "So much for making a good impression," Lisa sighed. "The test mission to the moon leaves tomorrow," Xylith reminded them. "It may be your best chance to prove yourselves." Lisa nodded grimly. "Then we better make it count." The protest outside the Earth Embassy grew louder. Greg monitored the security feeds with concern. "Most of them are peaceful, but there's a group in the back that worries me," he said, pointing to several larger aliens pushing their way forward. Lisa contacted station security, but they seemed hesitant to intervene. "It's just a demonstration," the security chief replied. "They have the right to express concerns." Suddenly, the embassy lights flickered and went out. Emergency systems kicked in with a dim red glow. "Someone cut our power," Alex reported after checking the systems. "And they've sealed the emergency exits." Lisa's training kicked in. "Greg, secure the staff. Nathan, contact the council. Everyone else, emergency positions." Before they could move, a loud explosion shook the embassy entrance. Smoke filled the air as several armed figures burst through the damaged doorway. They wore breathing masks and carried weapons. "Death to the Deathworlders," one shouted in the common council language. The attackers seemed surprised when the humans didn't immediately collapse in the smoke. What they didn't know was that humans from Earth had evolved with fire and smoke for thousands of years. Greg moved with shocking speed by alien standards. He tackled the nearest attacker before they could fire their weapon. The alien crumpled under what was, for Greg, a restrained attack. Two attackers cornered a group of alien embassy workers who had been meeting with Diane. When the aliens fell to the ground, struggling to breathe in the smoke, Lisa didn't hesitate. She grabbed breathing masks from the emergency cabinet and ran through the smoke. "Stay down," she ordered the workers, fitting them with masks. A weapon fired, and energy scorched the wall near her head. Lisa pulled the workers behind a desk for cover. In the communications center, Kelly and Xylith worked to restore systems. When part of the ceiling collapsed, Kelly instinctively shielded Xylith with her body. Debris that would have crushed the fragile alien merely bruised Kelly's back. "You protected me," Xylith said in wonder. "Of course," Kelly replied, wincing from the pain but continuing to work. Station security finally arrived, but they moved cautiously, afraid of the smoke and damaged structure. The humans, however, continued to function in conditions the Council species found debilitating. William Cruz helped security locate the remaining attackers. His ability to see through smoke and withstand the heated environment seemed miraculous to the station security team. "The building integrity is compromised," one security officer warned. "We must evacuate." "There are still people inside," William argued, then simply ran back into the embassy without waiting for permission. When the crisis ended 30 minutes later, the council representatives were astonished. Not only had the humans survived conditions that would have killed most council species, but they had prioritized saving others over their own safety. In the aftermath, Lisa and her team gathered in a council meeting room. Their embassy would need extensive repairs. "You showed remarkable abilities during the attack," Vereen said carefully. "We did what anyone would do," Lisa replied. "Not anyone," Vereen corrected. Most council species would have been incapacitated by the smoke alone. The structural damage would have killed many. Yet you not only survived, you protected others. Council security had identified the attackers as members of a fringe group called Purity of Stars. They believed that allowing dangerous species like humans into the council would destroy their peaceful society. The irony, Nathan noted, is that they tried to kill us to prove we're dangerous. News of the attack and the humans' response spread quickly through the station. While some aliens still kept their distance, others approached with newfound respect. A small alien child shyly offered Lisa a drawing, crude figures of humans standing protectively around smaller aliens. Not monsters, the child said in broken human language. Protectors. Lisa smiled at the child, then looked at her team. They had come to the station hoping to show that humans weren't dangerous despite their Deathworld origins. Instead, they had shown that being dangerous wasn't always a bad thing, especially when that strength was used to protect others. The test mission to the moon is still scheduled for tomorrow, Vereen informed them. After today's events, more council species have volunteered to join your team. Lisa nodded. Perhaps this crisis was a turning point. The real test was just beginning. The shuttle headed toward the small moon called Nexus 7. Inside, Lisa and her team prepared for the mission alongside 6 alien volunteers. Zilith was there, along with representatives from 5 other council species. Nexus 7 has conditions similar to Earth, but milder, explained the pilot, a 6-limbed alien named Dorax. Still, it's classified as dangerous for most council species. Through the viewport, Lisa could see the moon growing larger. It had blue oceans and green-brown landmasses, not unlike Earth. What makes it dangerous? Nathan asked. Higher gravity than most habitable worlds. Atmospheric pressure variations. Temperature extremes. Unpredictable weather patterns. Dorax listed. For you humans, it should feel pleasant. The shuttle landed in a clearing surrounded by alien forest. When the doors opened, the humans stepped out and took deep breaths of the fresh air. It smells like pine, Alex said with a smile. Reminds me of camping. The alien team members exited more cautiously, wearing protective gear. Despite the gear, they moved slowly and carefully in the higher gravity. This is difficult, Zilith admitted, wobbling slightly. How can you move so easily? It's actually lighter than Earth gravity, Greg replied, bouncing a little to demonstrate. Feels like we're walking on the moon. Their mission was to collect samples from 3 locations, a forest, a lakeside, and a mountain ridge. They would need to travel several miles to each site and gather specimens of plant and soil for council scientists. The team split into 3 groups, each with humans and aliens working together. Lisa, Zilith, and 2 other aliens headed for the forest. Nathan led the lake team, and Greg took the mountain route. In the forest, Lisa's team moved steadily through the dense vegetation. The aliens struggled with each step, while Lisa easily cleared a path. Wait, Lisa suddenly whispered, holding up her hand. Something's moving. A large, 6-legged creature resembling a wolf crossed their path ahead. The aliens froze in terror. Predator, one whispered. We should return to the shuttle. Lisa shook her head. It's not interested in us. It's hunting something else. She pointed to smaller creatures fleeing through the underbrush. See, we just need to stay quiet and let it pass. The aliens watched in amazement as Lisa calmly assessed the predator's behavior. On their worlds, large predators had either never evolved or had been driven to extinction long ago. Meanwhile, at the lake, Nathan's team collected water samples. A sudden storm blew in, with rain and wind that terrified the aliens. We must seek shelter, cried one alien, voice pitched high with fear. The water from the sky will burn us. Nathan looked up at what, to him, was merely a light shower. It's just rain. Water is falling because of temperature changes in the atmosphere. It's normal. The aliens huddled under a rocky overhang while Nathan continued working in the rain. To the aliens, he looked invincible, standing in falling water, unbothered by the wind, continuing his work as if nothing unusual was happening. On the mountain path, Greg's team faced a steep climb. The aliens, already struggling with the gravity, found the incline nearly impossible. "We can't proceed," said a tall, spindly alien. "The strain would break our limbs." Greg considered the problem, then smiled. "I have an idea." To the alien's shock, Greg began carrying their equipment up the steep sections. What would have been exhausting work for a team of aliens was merely tiring for one human. "Your strength is unsettling," admitted one alien, "but useful." By day's end, all three teams had completed their objectives and returned to the shuttle. The aliens were exhausted, but also excited by their success. "We've collected samples from areas we normally couldn't access," Xylith told Lisa excitedly, "and recorded physical adaptations we never imagined possible." As the shuttle lifted off, Lisa gazed down at the moon's surface. To council species, this gentle world was considered challenging and dangerous. What would they think of Earth, with its hurricanes, blizzards, earthquakes, and much higher gravity? "I think I understand now," she said quietly to Nathan. "We really did evolve in what they'd consider hell. And it made us strong," Nathan replied. Lisa nodded. "The question is, will they see that strength as a threat or an asset?" Behind them, the alien team members watched the humans with new eyes, still wary, but now with growing respect. The return to the station was met with great interest from the council. Reports from the alien team members had spread quickly. Crowds gathered to watch the shuttle dock, eager to see the humans who had completed the mission with such ease. The Science Council requested an immediate meeting. In a large chamber filled with curious aliens, Nathan and Patricia Coleman, the science liaison, presented their findings alongside Xylith. The samples collected from Nexus 7 contained valuable minerals, Patricia explained, showing holographic images of the materials. These resources could benefit many council worlds. Xylith continued eagerly. The human team members completed tasks in hours that would have taken our species days or been impossible altogether. They carried equipment up steep inclines, worked through a rainstorm, and safely navigated an area with predator species. Murmurs spread through the crowd. A tall, skeletal alien raised a thin limb to speak. "These abilities are certainly impressive, but they also confirm our concerns. These humans are powerful and potentially dangerous." Nathan stepped forward. "May I ask a question?" "When given permission," he continued, "how many extinction events has your species survived?" The alien seemed confused. "Extinction events?" "Yes. Times when most life on your planet was wiped out. Mass extinctions." The alien conferred with others before answering. "Our historical records show no such events." Nathan nodded. "Earth has experienced 5 major mass extinction events. Times when up to 95% of all species died out." He paused to let this sink in. Humans evolved on a planet that has tried to kill life over and over again. The chamber went silent. Patricia activated a display showing Earth's timeline. The dinosaurs ruled Earth for 165 million years before an asteroid impact wiped out 75% of all species. Mammals survived. Eventually, humans evolved. She showed images of natural disasters: volcanoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, blizzards. "Our planet constantly tries to kill us," Patricia continued. "We evolved to survive these conditions. Our bodies adapted to handle extreme temperatures, variable pressure, and high gravity. We developed immune systems to fight diseases. We became omnivores to survive when food was scarce." Xylith added, "Their bodies contain redundant systems. 2 kidneys when one would work, extra lung capacity. Their skin regenerates when damaged. Their bones can heal after breaking. They can survive the loss of limbs or even some organs." The council members looked both horrified and fascinated. "Are all Earth creatures so resilient?" someone asked. "Many are," Nathan replied. "Some animals can regrow entire limbs. Others can survive being frozen solid. Some can go without water for months or live in environments with no oxygen. Patricia showed more images: a tardigrade, a cockroach, an axolotl. Earth life had to become tough or die out. Survival drove our evolution. An older council member with shimmering skin spoke next. You speak of your world with pride. Yet it sounds like a nightmare, a planet of death and suffering. Lisa stepped forward. It is harsh, but it's also beautiful. Our challenges made us stronger, more adaptable, and more cooperative. We learned to work together to survive. She showed images of Earth's wonders: the Grand Canyon, the Amazon rainforest, coral reefs, snow-capped mountains. We don't see Earth as a death world. We see it as home. The debate continued for hours. Some council members remained fearful, but others began to show genuine curiosity. The humans' perspective challenged everything they thought they knew about habitable worlds and the evolution of intelligent life. As the meeting ended, Vereen approached Lisa with a thoughtful expression. Your revelations have disturbed many council members, Vereen admitted. The idea that intelligence can evolve through struggle rather than peace is revolutionary. Does that hurt our chances of joining the council? Lisa asked. Actually, Vereen said, it may have opened a new possibility. There are worlds in council space too harsh for our member species to explore or use. Worlds we classified as too dangerous. Lisa began to understand. Worlds that might seem normal to humans. Vereen nodded. Precisely. The council has called for a special session tomorrow. They wish to discuss a potential new role for humanity. Lisa looked at her team. After all their efforts to prove they weren't dangerous, it seemed their strength might be exactly what the council needed. The next day, the council chamber was filled to capacity. Representatives from all 27 species sat in tiered seating around a central platform. Lisa and her team entered, feeling the weight of so many alien eyes upon them. This special session will now begin, announced Vereen, who stood at a central podium. We are here to discuss the potential partnership with humans from Earth, designated ET7. A holographic display appeared, showing a map of council space. Dozens of stars glowed blue, representing member worlds. Red dots were scattered throughout, worlds considered too dangerous to settle. For centuries, we have classified worlds by their habitability, Vereen explained. Many resource-rich planets remain unused because they are too dangerous for our member species. The display zoomed in on one red dot, showing a rocky planet with swirling storms. This is Hadron 5. Rich in rare minerals our technology requires, but with gravity 1.3 times that of Earth, frequent electrical storms, and temperature variations of 70 degrees in a single-day cycle. The humans exchanged glances. The conditions sounded challenging but manageable. We propose a joint mission, Vereen continued. Humans and council scientists will travel to Hadron 5 to assess if humans can safely work there. Murmurs filled the chamber. Some sounded excited, others concerned. If successful, we propose creating a new classification, Guardian Species. Humans would help access worlds previously deemed too hazardous, opening new resources and knowledge to the Council. Lisa stood. We are honored by this proposal and willing to undertake the mission. The journey to Hadron 5 took 3 days. The research vessel carried Lisa, Greg, Alex, and Ryan Howard, the medical officer. 4 council scientists joined them, including Zulith, who had become the unofficial expert on humans. As they approached the planet, the ship began to shake from atmospheric turbulence. These conditions exceed safety parameters, warned the ship's computer. For council species, Ryan clarified. For humans, this is well within our tolerance. The landing was rough. Wind buffeted the ship, and lightning flashed in the purple-tinged sky. When the doors opened, the humans stepped out wearing simple environment suits. Gravity feels stronger, Greg noted as he tested his weight, but nothing we can't handle. Zulith and the other scientists remained in the ship, monitoring through cameras on the human suits. "The temperature is 105 degrees Fahrenheit, Ryan reported. "Hot, but we've dealt with worse on Earth." The team set up equipment to collect mineral samples and atmospheric data. They worked steadily despite the harsh conditions, taking breaks when needed but otherwise operating normally. A sudden storm approached, more violent than predicted. Lightning struck dangerously close to the team. "Return to the ship immediately," Xylith ordered through the comms. But Alex noticed something. The lightning is following a pattern. It's hitting the tallest metal deposits. If we stay low and avoid those areas, we should be fine. Instead of panicking, the humans adjusted their work pattern, using Earth survival skills to navigate the storm safely. They completed their planned collection an hour ahead of schedule, despite the challenging conditions. Back on the ship, the Council scientists were amazed. "You functioned in conditions that would have killed us within minutes," one scientist said. "And you seemed barely stressed." Ryan checked everyone's vital signs. Elevated heart rates, some mild dehydration. Nothing serious. "For us, this was a difficult workday," Lisa explained, "but not impossibly dangerous." As they prepared for departure, a particularly powerful lightning strike hit near the ship. The ground shook, and a section of rock collapsed, revealing a cave entrance. Greg's geological sensors went wild. "Those readings, there's something down there. Something big. We should investigate," Lisa decided, looking at her team. "It's too dangerous," objected one council scientist. "The storm is worsening." Xylith studied the humans' expressions, then surprised everyone by saying, "I want to go with them." The other scientists protested, but Xylith was determined. "With proper protection and human escorts, I should be safe. This is a unique opportunity." Lisa looked at Xylith with new respect. "We'll protect you. That's what guardian species do, right?" As they prepared to explore the cave, the humans realized something important. They weren't just showing the Council what humans could survive, but what they could help others accomplish. Together, they could explore worlds that neither could fully access alone. The true partnership was just beginning. 3 months after the successful Hadron 5 mission, the Earth Embassy on the Council station looked very different. It had been rebuilt and expanded, now serving as both a diplomatic hub and a training center. Humans worked alongside Council species, teaching them survival skills while learning about galactic technology and culture. Lisa stood at the large viewing window, watching ships come and go. Earth's first official starship had just arrived, bearing diplomats, scientists, and the first group of human volunteers for the Guardian Species program. "Quite a view, isn't it?" said Vereen, joining her at the window. "Sometimes I still can't believe we're here," Lisa replied. The council chamber was packed for the official ceremony. Humans sat alongside representatives from all council worlds. The cave discovery on Hadron 5 had changed everything. Inside, they had found ancient ruins and technology from a long-extinct species, valuable artifacts that council scientists had been seeking for generations. "Today marks a historic moment," announced the Grand Counselor, a dignified being with crystalline features. "The formal acceptance of Earth into the Galactic Council and the establishment of the Guardian Species Protocol." Applause and various alien sounds of approval filled the chamber. Humans have demonstrated not only that they can survive in conditions we find lethal, but that they can help others navigate such environments safely. Xylith stepped forward. Since the cave expedition, the alien scientist had become the leading advocate for human integration. "The universe is vast and varied," Xylith said. "Most life evolves to suit specific conditions, but humans evolve to adapt to changing conditions. Their harsh world forged them into a species that can help us access worlds we never could before." The Grand Counselor presented Lisa with a formal document. "With this treaty, Earth joins the Council as a full member, and humans take on the special role of guardian species." Lisa accepted the document with a smile. She thought about how far they had come from that first meeting when the aliens had recoiled from them in fear. After the ceremony, the human team gathered for a small private celebration. Nathan raised a glass of Earth wine that had arrived on the diplomatic ship. To Earth, the death world that made us who we are. And to new friendships across the stars, added Lisa. Diane looked at a datapad showing the new missions being planned. 12 expeditions to previously inaccessible worlds. Mining operations on high-gravity planets. Research into extreme weather patterns. We're going to be busy. And we're getting something in return, Ryan pointed out. Medical knowledge from 1,000 worlds. Technology beyond what we imagined. A group of alien children had gathered outside the celebration room, peering in curiously. Over the months, many younger aliens had become fascinated by humans rather than frightened. Lisa waved them in. "Can you show us the water thing again?" asked one small blue child. Greg laughed and poured a glass of water, then drank it normally. The alien children watched in amazement, still fascinated by humans' casual relationship with liquid water. "Now the gravity thing," another child requested. Alex grinned and did a simple handstand. The children chittered in delight. Later that evening, Lisa and Zilith stood on an observation deck, watching the stars. "Do you miss Earth?" Zilith asked. "Sometimes," Lisa admitted, "but we're making a difference here." "You have changed how we see the universe," Zilith said. "For generations, we avoided worlds we called death worlds. We never considered that life adapting to harsh conditions might produce something remarkable." "We had the opposite problem," Lisa replied. "We always wondered why we hadn't found alien life. We assumed all habitable worlds would be like Earth." Zilith made a sound like gentle laughter. "So we both learned the same lesson. Life is more diverse and adaptable than we imagined." As they watched, a shuttle departed the station, carrying a mixed team of humans and council species to explore a newly discovered world. No longer would the harsh planets of the galaxy remain untouched. With humans as guides and guardians, the council could expand to worlds they once feared. "I have a question I've been meaning to ask," Zilith said. "On Earth, do you really have competitions where humans deliberately jump into large bodies of water for fun?" Lisa smiled. "They're called diving competitions. And yes, we have many sports that probably sound terrifying to you." "Perhaps someday I might visit Earth," Zilith said hesitantly. "With the proper protection, of course." "I would be honored to show you my death world," Lisa replied. "After all, one species' nightmare is another species' home."